Hello, everyone. You've tuned into another segment of our Monday Wellbeings discussions. Today is July 25th, 2022. I am your host, that girl, Jenna Karasawa. Thanks so much for joining us. Your time is very valued and appreciated. At any point in time you're consuming this content, I can genuinely only hope that you're doing well. So, we're in a new book series. Last week, we did a quick introduction to our wonderful author, Cherie Calbom, in her wonderful book called The Juice Lady's Living Food Revolution. Eat your way to health, detoxification, and weight loss with delicious juices and raw foods. So that was last week. Quick introduction into her life. Now we're going to start in chapter 1. So much information. I'm super excited to get into this. She has so much valuable information and resources, and I want to do my best to give her full justice. This book, the details that she's put into it. So again, I just offer notes, my perspective, my commentary. I'm not a doctor, just have lots of years of studying and researching this type of um, nutritional plans, alternative medicine, if you want to call it, homeopathic, organic lifestyle, the hippie juice, what have you. So I am going to be learning a lot of information as well. There's things here I did not know. So let me go ahead and give you guys a quick introduction. So the living foods revolution, and the three major talking points we're going to be touching on today, specifically the history of the American diet, living foods, and what actually are they, and then what they offer you. So let's just go ahead. I'm not going to waste very much time giving much of the backstory, just jump straight into the content. So the history of the American diet. So the first quote I have is from her on page 7. It says, "My dear friends, we've been duped, completely led astray by marketing campaigns. How did we lose our way from pure whole foods to processed and everything else that comes along with it?" Very good question. So we'll stroll down memory lane and the different marketing campaigns that people used back in the day to literally rope us in sometimes. Maybe not literally, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, so let's start with the vegetable oil industry that came around after World War II, and it changed from what we use with the tropical oils, transitioned to the vegetables, and they cleverly advertised and pushed vegetable oil on people. On page page 8, it says, "We now know oils made from polyunsaturated fatty acids such as corn, soy, safflower, and sunflower oil actually contribute to heart diseases because they oxidize easily and can cause plaque buildup in the arteries." So, news to me. Next, we're going to talk about carbonated beverages, also marketed to Americans after World War II. And there's also chemical sugars to replace the white sugar, calcium cyclamate, saccharin, aspartame, and they were sold as diet options. So another quote I'm going to be sharing comes from her book. It says, "San Antonio Heart Study, a 25-year-old based community-based study carried out at the University of Texas Health Science Center. They found that the exact opposite to be true. Their research showed that the more diet sodas a person drinks, the greater their chance of becoming overweight." Interesting. And that was on page 9. So another contributing factor to the American diet was the fast food nation. It was introduced in the 1950s. The very first McDonald's was opened up in Chicago in 1955 by Ray Kroc, and it was labeled as the all-American meal. So that was the introduction to changing diets. Continuing there, we've got the film by Morgan Spurlock, 2004. I don't know if anyone remember the documentary Super Size Me. So that one was introduced. And so pretty much the premise of that was in 2003, this gentleman spent the entire month of February eating exclusively at McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and he opted not to exercise either. So overall, he gained 24 pounds in 1 month on this exclusive diet. And after the film was released, they got rid of the supersize option and they offered healthier eating alternatives. So just a little side bunny trail. I have to do this. I'm sorry. But going through Crucial Conversations, they have a section where they talked about the supersize option. So I thought that was funny. I just read this book. We finished it. and they brought this up. This book came out in 2002, and the documentary came out in 2003, and they removed the option for Supersize Me. So I thought that was a cute, interesting reference. But so let's go talking about the next American diet food contributor that changed the way that we ate was actually packaged breakfast cereals, which was news to me. I did not know this would be in the category of something that was damaging or detrimental to our health or a contributing factor to poor health. I had to put it in perspective. Not all of it is bad, but I guess there's contributing factors to it. So, a wonderful quote she says on page 10. Ads danced, sang, and talked their way into our lives. These cereals were manufactured using a process called extrusion. Paul Stitt, an author of Fighting the Food Giants, he explains the process, stating that it destroys most of the nutrients in grains, and the worst aspect, the process turning the amino acids into a toxic matter. So, did not know, learned something. So, Wonder Bread or any type of the soft, smooth bread, the texture is from the refined flour. So, that has been removed. That process removes the natural fiber. So, refining makes bread that may have an extended shelf life, but it does not offer nearly as much as a nutritional value or benefits as it could through that process. So, lacking the nutrition. 1954, Swanson, they started to introduce to the public TV dinners, and they had their first one in an aluminum tray, a turkey and stuffing type dinner, and Americans moved from table to TV for family meals. Another quote she has here on page 11, it says, watching TV, families interact rather than talking with their own family members while they ate. It's, it permanently changed the way Americans ate. American families lost the treasure of eating, laughing, sharing the day's events, and praying with the family. So that was kind of altered, little small transitional things. So individually, not so much of a problem, but we combine everything together and we're beginning to see the trends and how these things changed and adjusted our life. Next, she brings up designer foods, 1960s, the miracle seeds, and then they improved varieties of wheat, corn, rice, with dramatic increase to the crop yields of American farmers. Hybrid seeds offered more gluten, so producers could make fluffier breads that people tend to like. But also, we have a huge rise in gluten allergies and also causing gastrointestinal problems. So, designer foods are foods concocted by scientists in the labs, often void of life promoting ingredients, she shares. So, lots of things genetically modified and altered and adjusted, but in the result, in the end process, loses some of the nutritional value. So, page 13, they gave us slogans like reach for a lucky instead of a sweet, and then more doctors smoke camels. So we hear like a lot of doctors and medical professionals giving us all this great advice, only to come and find out that a lot of it was wrong or incorrect. So she says right here, the truth. We've been the human guinea pigs for decades. So let me go on to the next section, segment 2. And that's going to be talking again, what exactly is this whole green food revolution? So it's time for a revolution. So on page 13, in the way you eat, in the way you think about food, if you return to nature's living bounty, you can heal your body and mind along with the earth. So that's the hope and objective with having these discussions. And it's not saying you can't enjoy anything else, but we need to be aware of the other options out there that's available to us. And probably, nature intended from the very, very beginning, going back to our roots. Okay, so Living Food Revolution is a lifestyle program consuming large percentages of your food uncooked through juicing. Page 15. These living foods love you back by giving you a plethora of life-giving nutrients. Higher energy levels, detox, mental clarity, increased vitality, and inner peace. So the raw green veggies, pretty much the key to life. Juicing a wide variety gives us a powerhouse of minerals, enzymes, biophotons, and phytonutrients. Page 16. Many people say they don't get hungry for quite a while after they drink freshly made vegetable juices. So these juices are amazing due to the amount of nutrients offered. Most people tend to lose cravings for food and no munchies because their body's getting fed. The nutrients are going to the body, so the cravings tend to subside. So this diet is made about 60 to 80% of raw food. That's considered to be consuming a live food diet. So more than half of your diet with fresh raw produce and juicing, everything like that, it's considered a live food diet. So high in enzymes is crucial to the body due to the ability to convert vitamins and minerals to energy. Enzymes are needed for chemical reactions in the body. So another interesting point too that I felt worthy of bringing up. We're going through the book Forces of Habit, Drugs and Making the Modern World, and I talked about a blight or some type of plague on the wheat and causing problems with hallucinogens and enzymes. So it's interesting that this book brings up the problem with enzymes. As we're going through this book, it kind of breaks it down a little bit more in detail, what enzymes are for and what the problem happens if they're not present in your body. So page 17, it says, plant food enzymes work in digestive systems where they pre-digest foods and thus spare the pancreas and other digestive organs from having to work so hard to produce excess enzymes. If you feel you can't go fully on a raw lifestyle diet right away, it's encouraging to take steps, even baby steps, towards a healthier lifestyle. So it's a process. You got to take it slowly, little by little. So Professor Fritz Albert Popp and Dr. N. Nigli, two researchers who found light energy in biophotons and how impactful they are to our lives. So this is something I knew a little bit about, like through chlorophyll and like liquid sunshine and the stuff that plants eat. So hearing about biophotons is pretty new and revolutionary to me. So naturally grown fruits and vegetables that are ripened in the sun are strong sources of light energy. They provide our bodies with important information and control complex processes, such as ordering and regulating our cells. And that's found on page 19 as a reference if you're interested in reading more about biophotons. As you ingest more raw foods, less calories required due to biophotons, boosting mitochondria of our cells, also feeding our DNA. So biophotons carry biological information of the plant into your body. It's kind of like, this is a direct quote, it's kind of like getting a software download or having a computer tech take over your computer remotely to fix things you can't begin to correct. Just as the computer tech fixes errors for your computer, the biophotons help fix errors that have taken place within the body. So very encouraging. Liquid sunshine is so important and will help your body repair itself. So let's move on to the third segment here. Lots of information still. So what is the living food diet? Well, we already talked about what it is, but what can it offer you now? Let's go into a little bit more specific specifications and details. So there's about 9 specific things that these live foods will help do for you in your body. So the alkalinity neutralizes the acid buildup in our bodies, which is important because we tend to hold on to a lot of toxins and pathogens, and pretty much all the processed stuff and all the sugars gets piled up in our system. So acid builds up in our bodies from animal plants, grains, sugar, coffee, causing weight gain and joint pain. More importantly, a lot of people express having joint pain, and I've shared with them that part of it can be due to the animal protein or animal fats in our bodies. So joint pain is an issue. So living food produces alkaline, which is reducing the acid. So second one benefit is the hydration. Something again that I hadn't really considered, but it says live foods contain a lot of water, and water is needed for the enzymes to function, which is also very important. And it's easier for vitamins and minerals to enter the cells and for them to help repair your body through the cells. So, more live energy the water holds in the form of biophotons, the better the individual cell functions are, and the higher the quality of life of your health. That's on page 21. Okay, so superior protein. Now, they shall admit that does not cover all the proteins, but the protein that it does provide is very, very, very beneficial to your body. So, raw foods offer quality amino acids. When you cook it, the cooking process disorganizes their structure and it causes problems to your body. It's not as beneficial or effective, so it's better to get these things completely raw and unadulterated, unmessed with. So, number 4, abundant vitamins. So many of the vitamins are lost during the cooking process. So it's better to get everything fresh and raw to get the best benefits of the minerals and vitamins. Number 5, so we talked about the biophotons a little bit, or they call it stored light energy. Very crucial, very important to our health. So these things that are taken from the plants, that the plants take from the sun, and they help our cells communicate more effectively. And again, the heat and cooking process takes us away from, from the food. So again, better to get it fresh and raw. So number 6 benefit is energy, strength, stamina. So another doctor, the name of Dr. Karl Elmer, he studied athletes. This is in Germany, and he studied closely since as they transitioned to a raw diet. He notated that he saw improvements in their performance. They had a lot more energy and stamina, and they were able to sleep a more restful night with less hours, interestingly enough. So number 7 is better mental performance, mental clarity, alertness, and creativity. I personally can attest to this, taking, not from juicing, but getting more vitamins and supplements into my system. I did notice the mental clarity, so I'm looking forward to starting to do more juicing of fresh produce and seeing where those benefits will take me. So, number 8. More enzymes and improved digestion. So enzymes, this is a direct quote. Enzymes are important because they are the catalyst of nearly every chemical reaction in our bodies. Vitamins and hormones need enzymes to do optimal work. Enzymes destroyed during the cooking process, forcing the digestive tract to work even harder. So, interesting because we talked about forces of habit, drugs of the making in the modern world, and we mentioned enzymes and how starvation and contaminated food affected people's bodies and created hallucinogens and poor health. So hearing a little bit more of the importance of enzymes kind of just brings everything full circle, where you see how it's so important to have a good, healthy diet and how it can affect your health. So very fascinating to me. Okay, so number 9. So the benefits of the raw food diet, it is reduce the risk of disease. Raw food diets have shown to lower the risk of cancer and other diseases. Okay, sorry about that. So in my little side note, I added here, it's pretty much you're able to repair your cells better with these live ingredients from the fresh produce. Helps your body. Okay, so increase the microelectric potential of your cells. Biological terrain, and that's on page 23, a direct quote. Biological terrain is the system of all cells plus the surrounding environment. It's a compromise of fluids, vitamins, minerals, trace elements, enzymes, waste, and microorganisms. Sorry. All right. Microorganisms. Let's continue. When your body is overrun with waste, toxins, pathogens, or acidic, Our cells' vitality is diminished. Our immune system is overworked. Raw foods restore our body and removes the waste in our systems. So very beneficial. So, in conclusion, or we're getting ready to get to the conclusion. Author of the book Clarity, his name is Steve Cesari. He shares a story where a friend of his is in a rush to get gas, and he stops at the gas station, and he takes off in his brand new Audi, only to have it break down on him. Well, it turns out he put diesel in there instead of gasoline, so he had about $6,000 worth of damage, and had to replace a couple of parts. And this is all because he put the wrong fuel into his car, which is what happens to a lot of us. We put the wrong fuel into our bodies, and we end up paying for the repairs to our bodies. So the author, I wanted to share this quote directly. I didn't want to butcher it because this is very important that you guys understand this process. So on page 24, again, it's coming from this book right here, The Juice Lady's Living Food Revolution, Eat Your Way to Health, Intoxication, and Weight Loss with Delicious Juices and Raw Foods by Cherie, Calbom. So, quote on page 24 directly says, "Remember, every journey begins with the first step. It takes more than a couple of weeks to see a profound difference, although many people report significant improvements in just a few days. Give a living foods lifestyle 6 months at least, and then evaluate." So, let me share one testimonial in here that this book is full of them, but I wanted to share this one specifically because it hits a lot of key points to what a lot of people experience, and this one seemed to be very, very covered a lot of points. So this is coming from page 20. It says, "Juicing helped when nothing else would." This is a bit lengthy, but stay with me, okay? So very important testimonial from this book. It says, "My husband is a medical doctor. I was an artist. We are very active in our faith and for years participated in foreign missions. We have been everywhere from the slums of Mexico to the war-torn Congo. Being physically fit and active was and is necessary for such trips. I would carry about 30 pounds on my back and walk 5 hours into Ecuador's Amazon rainforest to deliver school supplies to remote villages. I had to be able to handle the weight and the heat of the terrain. While in the Congo, even after taking all the precautions and shots, I was bitten by a bug, and my health was never the same. At first, my husband thought I had malaria. Then, I lost the use of my hands. Being a sculptor, that was devastating. I saw many doctors and spent thousands of dollars on tests. My symptoms escalated. I was tested for multiple sclerosis, Lyme disease, and many, many other things. During this time, I lived either on the sofa or in my bed. Actually, I was not living. I was simply existing. Just the simple act of walking was extremely painful. My internist deducted that I had a toxic level of mercury from an old tooth filling and lead from sculpting clay, chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, food allergies, and a liver that wasn't functioning efficiently. I took 25 pills per day. I endured IV, chelation, clonics, and all sorts of painful and debilitating treatments without lasting improvement. I started seeking specialists in other states. So one specialist said that I had in Canada, Canada albicans, and multiple allergies. He recommended shots twice a week. Monthly, I drove 8 hours to see him. After that, I could see no improvement, but was suffering from adverse reactions to the medications and talking with him about it. He told me I had to endure the reactions to gain the benefits, but I didn't see any benefits, so I stopped the shots." Continuing on. "That drove me from the medical field to the homeopathic medicine. I was told that I had parasites, so I did the parasitic cleansing that was recommended. That helped a little, but I still wanted my life back. I started driving 12 hours one way to see a specialist who reported that my body was still not absorbing nutrients. I did the master cleanse and all sorts of other cleanses. I started eating organically. I was able to function and my pain subsided somewhat, but I remained hungry all the time. Okay, getting closer to the conclusion. So recently, a friend heard Cherie speak, and she recommended her juice book, The Juice Lady's Turbo Diet. Since getting her book, I have been juicing about 2 weeks, and it has already made a tremendous difference in my health. My pain has decreased, my brain is not as foggy, I don't need as much sleep, and my skin has improved. Juicing has helped me more than anything I've tried. Thank you for helping me live again. So that's just one testimonial. There are several other here throughout the book, and even the first chapter has at least 3 of them. I just wanted to share. I do not do fresh juicing myself, but I'm looking forward to getting onto this journey. I take a lot of vitamin supplements and powdered, but I want to try it. So stay tuned. We'll be keeping you up to date with this book every Monday for our Monday Well-Beings discussions, and I'll probably pop in with more videos demonstrating the juicing process and different recipes in the future. So stay tuned. As always, at any point in time you're consuming this content, I can only hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Apologize for not the most clearest or most efficient today. A lot of information to cover, but I'm looking forward to continuing this journey with you. Thank you guys, and as always, God's peace.